Spooky out there, ain't it? Listen, anybody out there who wants to file a lawsuit like on some type of, the type of lawsuit that Shannon Sharpe is facing, you know what I mean? It involves sexual abuse and so on and so forth. Don't hire Tony Busby. Keep him out the mix. Because as much as people don't like victim blaming or victim blamers or all of the things that people say about people who blame the victim, you gotta admit, Tony Busby puts your whole situation into question. I'm just saying, before I knew any details, any of the details, not like I know anything now, but as this story was breaking, I'm like, I don't jump out the window to talk about nothing. Maybe I should. You know what I mean? I guess if you early to a story, maybe you it bigs your views up and all of that. But I'm like, nah, B, because it's first of all, it's a dicey subject. You know what I'm saying? You say you don't believe Shorty, you know what I mean? People start coming at you crazy and all of that. But I don't know if I believe Shorty. You know what I mean? I don't. We don't know. I don't know. I'm not familiar with her. You know who she was before this incident happened and all of that. But I will say it's scary out there. Shannon, Uncle Shay Shay. I mean, I wish him the best. If in fact he is, you know what I'm saying? This is a play. This is a scam, a mockery, a scam-mockery. You know what I mean? Because it really is dangerous out here. Like when everything first started blowing up with Puffy, I'm sure a lot of us believed what was going on with Puffy was really going on with Puffy. Niggas were like, yeah, he didn't. A lot of people jumped to, not a lot of people rushed to his defense and all of that. People had whatever perception they had, and the narrative kind of played into the perception that the people had. And it's like, I don't know, it just seemed easy to believe that. I don't know if it's as easy to believe this situation with Shannon. I don't like the way this hoodie is falling, like the way it's dropping. Anyway, I don't know how I feel about the whole Shannon Sharpe situation. Like as far as, usually I get a feeling. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't believe this shit, or I feel like. Now, I'm not saying that my feeling is always right, but I don't have a feeling on this either way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not leaning in any direction yet. Because you never know. You never know, right? But I do think it's scary out there because this has truly become one of the hustles. One of the hustles that niggas is doing out here in the street. You got dudes who, they sell controlled substances. That's one. You got these credit card dudes. That's two. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes out here robbing, strong, actual robbery. That's three. Show us a whole. Those look. There are many more. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not I don't live that life. I don't, get involved in all of that. You know what I'm saying? But the scamming bracket, scamming used to just mean credit. Well, I don't know if it ever exclusively meant credit cards, but that's what people would think about from, in this era. If you say scammers, people going to think these little credit card niggas, credit card fraud or whatever. But nah, the scams, you got all kind of scams. You know what I'm saying? All kind of insurance scams, all kind of social security scams, all kind of whatever, scamming the store they work in, all of that, right? But just in this day and age, bagging you a rich nigga and then sticking him up for his money in courtroom is one of the hustles. It just is. And I don't like it. I don't like it. So I will say this. When it comes to this version of the hustle, we are to be like, just like we are to be wary of getting hustled in every other walk of life. We need to be wary of this too. You know what I'm saying? Which means this doesn't mean to victim blame, but this does means I'm not believing these quote unquote alleged victims. You are an alleged victim, just like he's an alleged perpetrator at this point. Alleged suspect. Okay, so these things have happened. Him supposedly aping Shorty and all of that. It's supposed to have happened within the past 2 years. And within the past 2 years isn't, if I'm not mistaken, that's not exceeding the statute of limitations for this to be a criminal. Yeah, I mean, you heard. So why you ain't filed no criminal charges? You just want the money. You don't want nothing bad. He's within that range, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know laws don't give a damn about the people, but I do think, because I heard the statute of limitation. I don't know what the exact statute of limitation on aping is, but in my opinion, I don't like it. Whatever it was, somebody told me what it was, but it ain't like the clipping. Ain't no statute of limitation on clippings. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, so this has only been 2 years. So why you ain't go there? Do you need? Is it because you need more to prove? You need an ape kit to prove that? I don't know all of what you need to prove it. How much physical evidence you need to prove it, but the fact that you only want the money and not the punishment, because Shannon Sharpe got a deal on the table for $100 million, right? If he just gets that, if he does get that, you should have waited a couple of days, because you kind of put that in jeopardy. You know what I mean? A lot of people were saying, "Oh, she hear about that money, drop the suit." You about to fuck up the money you about to get, or you might be the money you trying to get. You blowing it. Pause. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, if she does get that money, right? If she gets 50,000, I mean, if she gets 50 million smackaroos out of Shannon Sharpe right now, and Shannon Sharpe is left with the 50 from the deal, right? And whatever he had before that, only thing you hurt on Shannon, you just hurt it. You kind of just hurt his pride. You understand what I'm saying? $50 million is still enough for a person to walk around like he owned this bitch. You know what I mean? So you don't care. I say that to say you don't care about punishing this man for violating you, but you want that 50 mil. That leads you to be, that's questionable right there, ma. It is. Some of these people who, I understand how difficult it may be for a person to speak out about that. I seen the little thing on it was the reel online on IG with, I don't know, I forget who it was who did the experiment or whatever, where they said, if you or somebody, it was an auditorium full of people, it was a speaker, like, if you or somebody has ever been sexually assaulted or whatever, blah, 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 stand up. And damn near the whole auditorium stood up, right? Then she said, if you or that person didn't report it, sit down. And like 90% out of the damn near whole auditorium that stood up, like 90% of them sat down. I get that. I understand how often, I'm getting goosebumps saying it because it's a cold thought. You understand what I'm saying? I understand how afraid, or for whatever the reason, people don't speak about it. They're afraid, they're embarrassed, whatever. I get that. People don't always talk about these things, right? So because of that, statute of limitations can expire, and now you can't do nothing criminally about it, right? You got a situation right now. You well with a word, nigga. Do what? You could get him now, and now you just want the money. That don't look good on you. It don't. And then you go out hire Tony Busby. You know what I'm saying? And then some people actually have lied. We have it on record. Like this one was keeping it fake. This one was. Yeah, so it has to, your best course of action is to just wait and see. For all of us, you know what I'm saying? We could pass judgment. We could tease, shay, crack all our jokes. Niggas in 5. Lou Dort, child support, divorce court. Niggas in 5. You understand? All of that is hilarious. I watched them cracking wild jokes on the Gilbert Arenas, Gil's Arena. Clip came up back in the day, not back in the days, but his interview with Monique, where she was telling him, nigga, get out these streets, chasing these little 20-year-old, 25-year-olds and all of that. You a 56-year-old, you understand what I'm saying? She's like 50, late, sit it on down. Sit it on down. And she got a point. You understand what I'm saying? She like, you don't need, 20-year-old, you don't need, 35-year-old. Nah, because they be fucking playing. I'm 51. Curtis Jackson in 1. And like 35 is kind of my cutoff point. You understand what I'm saying? But I think I need to raise the cutoff point. Because even some of these 35-year-old women be running around here acting like fucking children. Excuse me. Pause. They're not schmucking children. But they act like children. And I don't like it. She raised a good point there and all that. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be, and Shannon Sharpe has a personality that you can't miss him now. Like I didn't know Shannon, like I didn't watch football like that when Shannon was playing. I wasn't, what I'm saying? But in this, since he's been in this space, Shannon been blowing up. Like his rise was meteoric. You know what I'm saying? Like he everywhere right now, you know what I'm saying? And the same way these athletes running around here getting got, just because you a former athlete don't mean you out the, you out the mix. This is a wake-up call, I think, to all smooth niggas. To all males who out there doing they thug thizzle when it comes to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a lot of bread, you gotta be very. If you got a lot of bread, you gotta have a lot of rules, B. You gotta have walls up. You understand what I'm saying? You got to be like. You know what I mean? It's a sad world when you gotta record every interaction you have with a woman that you feel something for. Wild business. If you made it to the end of this video, oh yeah, I ain't do the intro. Welcome to the nation, y'all. Monster Nation. I'm your host, your tour guide, your The president, I'm the king around here. I'm the landlord, owner, tenant, janitor. I'm off the damn floor with you. If you don't follow the rules, rules are you gotta like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, share. If you're trying to be a taxpaying citizen of the nation, then leave us a super thanks or Cash App. We actually prefer the Cash App, but y'all do y'all. We ain't tripping. Cash App tag will be in the description along with the Bandcamp link, which is there for all of those of you who would rather hear me rap than hear me yap. Don't come in these comments talking about, you need to be back in the booth. All this talking ain't you. Shut your ass up and click the link. My newest mixtape is there. It's called Nonviolent Rocko. The one before that is called Slang and Rock, Volume 2. The mixtapes go all the way back to Shell Shock. If you want to hear me rap instead of yap, click the link. If you talk that goofball shit in the comments, you're telling on yourself. You're only telling me that you either didn't watch the video this far, you didn't pay attention, or you're just fucking stupid. Sorry, YouTube. Anyway, you trying to be seen ass nigga. Yo, stop asking me about Buckshot, how Buckshot doing. Y'all know Buckshot is on Instagram, right? Y'all know that, right? Why y'all asking me? You don't know him? So you ask me, you don't know me neither. He's all right, though. He's good. But for real, stop typing just because you got fingers. Speak and type with purpose, people. Anyway, also, when you typing in here, in the nation, use your spell check. Spell check is your friend. And I don't mean the computers, your own. Use your memory. Rock is spelled with a K, a C and a K, R-O-C-K. Unless you a Crip, Crips get a pass. I understand y'all politics. Just throw a little cuh or something in the comments so I know who you is. And I push you through. I push it through. Pause. If applicable. Helter Skelter has an A and a H, no ER. It's Helter Skelter, not Helter Skelter. Monster spelled with an A, no ER. It's monster, not monster. I understand Monster and Helter Skelter don't follow the same principles and all of that, but you could figure it out. How you spell Wednesday? Stupid. If you could figure that, you could figure this out. How you spell wait? Not wait. Wait. Stupid. You could figure it out. Yeah, and for the love of God, it's BCC, not BBC. Did you see the last video where I explained to y'all? My pause personally, when I pause, it's not for all of you pause protesters who I need to explain unto you anyway. But just to make y'all, when I pause, all of my I don't just pause gay stuff. That's not. I pause anything that sounds unintentionally sexual. So heterosexual stuff and all of that, I pause. You should see me in here with my daughter moms, with my sis Taz and all of that. You talking to your sis, you know what I'm saying? And you say something that sounds unintentionally sexual, you gotta pause that. That's the sis. Anyway, if you made it to the end of this video, let me get 4 sets of eyeballs, because you gotta watch yourself out here. Rock on, rock on.